Channel 5, KOCO TV, Oklahoma City.
From your friends at 5 Alive, Jack Bowen, Jerry Harris, Jerry Park, Wayne Shattuck. This is 5 Alive News.
Good afternoon on a very busy news day. Possibly the worst single plane.
Indicated there are no signs, but after they left, ONG pointed out one that's about 15 feet from here that says before digging, and it has a phone number. So that dispute may be wagered by other people.
Okay, James.
Now, Jerry, for that plane crash you mentioned in Japan, 524 people were on board a Japan Airlines 747 that slammed into a mountainside this morning, our time. It's almost dawn in Japan now, and rescues of the JAL plane as it took off from Tokyo en route to Osaka. About 60 miles out, the pilot radioed that a cabin door had blown off and he was going to attempt an emergency landing at a U.S. Air Force base. Seconds later, though, the plane disappeared from radar screens. Air Force pilots in the area reported the plane exploding on impact, and helicopters flying over the crash scene say there are no signs of life. Relatives of passengers are being taken to a village near the site to await word. There are 21.
Apparently no members of the Oklahoma delegation that has been visiting Japan on board the JAL flight. Lieutenant Governor Spencer Bernard and his party left Japan over the weekend and are currently in Hawaii. You might be surprised that the recent rash of air disasters is not causing many people to change their travel plans. However, as 5 Alive's Bill Mitchell reports, it is causing more people to buy flight insurance and talk about the possibility of an air crash.
10 minutes until 10 after 2 today, 8:35. Thank you.
Airline managers estimate that less than 1% of air travelers.
That's how it's going to go.
Yeah, of course we're worried, but we're not worried enough to say go rent a car and drive back to California. We're not going to do that. We're still going to fly, but we just might be a little apprehensive when we're taking off and landing.
Yeah, I think the odds are in our favor because we just don't travel by air very much.
A 9-member panel looking into the Delta Flight 191 crash in Dallas started its work.
In other news, an 8-year-old boy has been buried today in spite of unanswered questions concerning his death. Bobby Seaton was
hearing.
Their numbers are never large, but they are consistent. Each time Oklahoma Gas and Electric or another utility asks for a rate increase.
He has more world and national news at 5:30.
And still ahead on 5 Alive News at 5. Boy, Wayne, that wind sweeping down the plain today is hot.
It really is, and it may also help fuel some thunderstorms in the next 24 hours. We'll take a look at the complete weather picture in just a bit. Jerry?
Wayne Scott for Plank can't lose. Fancy's on top again, and you can color the PGA green. Those stories coming up a little later in the telecast. Jerry and Jack.
Okay, Jerry, and also coming up, a look at one of the city's oldest and most popular eating establishments.
It preserves the Western tradition of a hearty steak with friends, as we'll find out on Cover Story later on 5 Alive News at 5. All week?
Well, we might get a couple of degrees relief, but really when you move from 99 or 98 down to about 95, it doesn't feel a lot cooler, does it?
No.
If we're real lucky, we might get a little rain in the next 24 hours or so. There is some rain in northern sections of the state, and we'll show you that in a moment. We do have a slight chance of some of that moving into our area. It hasn't gotten to us yet. As a matter of fact, are we still sunny? We have been all day. Yep, we are. Sunny and 98 degrees right now. Winds out of the south at 14, gusting to 18 miles per hour. Our relative humidity 25%, quite low, and the barometric pressure 2983 and falling. Early morning low was 72. High today, well, just barely in Major County. This is the prime area where we are seeing thunderstorms up to a height of about 40,000 feet, just a little bit taller. Nothing severe being reported yet. But we're going to watch them very closely as they progress. Again, they are moving northeastward at about 30 miles per hour. Now, here's the way we see Oklahoma, the state, tonight. Best rain chances will be prime hour. Wednesday should be mostly sunny, 95. Thursday and Friday, partly cloudy both days, 93 and 94, respectively, for highs in the latter part of the week. Chances are a bit slim for central Oklahoma getting any shower activity tonight, but those storms are a little closer than we thought they would be, and we're hoping that maybe that front's got just enough impetus to move it in. We might get lucky later on tonight. We'll keep an eye on it.
Okay.
Thank you, Wayne. We're about to see some organized chaos, mealtime at one of Oklahoma City's most popular restaurants.
But the product of that confusion will melt in your mouth, as we'll find out next in Cover Story. in our city for nearly 6 decades, and some of its employees have been here that long. And as for the customers, well, they just can't seem to get enough. We're talking about the Cattleman's Cafe. And in today's cover story, 5 Alive's Kathy Davison takes us inside.
In the middle of the stockyards area of Oklahoma City sits a 60-year tradition. It's the Cattleman's Cafe, known for its great steaks, hearty breakfasts, and the people who work and eat here.
We come to eat at Cattleman's for
These days, my shopping time has to count, and Estee Lauder makes...
Concern over the money matters of municipal governments is why the National League is off 6.5 points on volume of 76 million shares.
From Money's Worth today, the distinct possibility of higher shoe prices. That would make U.S. makers competitive, but the consumer would face higher prices as a result.
I'd forgotten shoes were that much fun to watch. Especially golf shoes for Scott Verplank.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know, he's not making a whole lot of money, but he sure got some great credentials. Jack, what they really need to do, why don't they just go ahead and give Scott Verplank the trophy for winning the Legit Golf Tournament down in Abilene, Texas, and not even play the tournament. Scott won it again yesterday, shooting a closing round of 63. Now, that makes 4 in a row for the U.S. Amateur National Champion from Oklahoma State. Nancy Lopez won the LPGA tournament in High Point, North Carolina yesterday. It was her 4th win of the season, and it wasn't even close. Nancy beat Val Skinner by 10.
Stay with us.
Finally this afternoon, a 5,000 egg omelet was cooked this weekend in Abbeville, Louisiana to welcome dignitaries. Let's go sauce, Jerry.
Pretty hot stuff.
I like that hot. Oh, that'd be good.
Just happen to have 5,000 eggs handy, right?
I guess. or some hens. I don't know.
That's 5 Alive News at 5 for this Monday, but there's a lot more you should know about coming up on 5 Alive News at 6 o'clock, including some new police leads on the murder of Oklahoma City evangelist Edward Anthony Taylor. Also at 6, some angry Oklahomans want action against oil company drillers who damaged their property.
And we'll also bring you up to date on the sales success of the new versus the old Coke here in Oklahoma. First, the world news from ABC.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Tonight reporting from Washington, Ted Koppel.
Good evening. It appears to be the worst air disaster for the Japanese in World War II.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, brought to you by Anison.